Alright, so this for all of you that are struggling to make a lasting change in your lives. Like, no matter if you say you're going to quit an addiction, build your physique, achieve a new goal, all of that will last for a week or two or even a few days, and then you'll be back to what you were doing. And I know this feeling a little too well because I was exactly like that. Like, I will start very strong, I'll go to the gym for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and then all of a sudden I'm fat again, I'm smoking weed again, I'm masturbating, and I just couldn't pinpoint what exactly happened and what went wrong. Fast forward a little bit of time, I was able to quit all of my addictions. I'm consistently posting on my social medias, building my personal brand, building a business on the side, working out, reading. I have a whole list of habits that I'm doing every single day, and I'm very consistent with them. And I didn't really try harder. In a sense, I just got out of my own way. And in this video I'll tell you exactly how I did it so you can achieve it for yourself. So basically, as I said, I was stuck in a loop, just taking a bunch of drugs, gambling all of my money away, watching porn every single day, going to a job that left me with no energy to pursue my passions, my dreams. It was the exact same cycle you all know. Waking up in the morning, going to your job, coming back, eating, taking a bunch of drugs, procrastinating, watching TV, scrolling, and then just kind of sleeping and repeating it all again. I've always had these really big ambitions, these goals, and I couldn't get myself to do the work necessary to achieve them. And this is when I kind of discovered and fallen into the trap of manifestation, because back then at least the content I was consuming was all people telling you that you just need to think differently and everything is going to come with you without you putting in any effort, which on paper sounds amazing, but in reality that wasn't the case, at least in my experience. If you have such experience, you can share it in the comments. But at least with the most important stuff, like with money, with success, I couldn't achieve that solely through changing my thoughts and beliefs. So I was kind of stuck in that. I tried different things as well. I tried to build discipline, to build willpower. I'll be consistent for a week or two and then everything falls apart without me even noticing how. I am thankful though that when I got on this spirituality, manifestation, consciousness rabbit hole, at least I understood that the most important thing is to be self-aware and conscious of your actions. And this was ultimately what helped me break the cycle. I understood that whatever the hell we are doing, we have put ourselves into that frame. All of these addictions, all of the procrastination, all of the inconsistency is a result of how we were able to survive up to this point. It may not have been the best way to survive, but this is how we did it, right? At some point I have learned that when I'm stressed, for example, I can smoke weed and the stress goes away. Now your brain remembers that. Dopamine is a reward, but it's about learning, and your primitive brain cannot really put things into perspective and think long run. It understands that now you have stress, you can smoke weed and the stress goes away. So it learns that behavior. Those behaviors are now automatic. You don't think about them. That's why falling back into your old ways happens unconsciously. And you have a whole bunch of these behaviors, habits and experiences. Most of them are not serving you, and that's why you're watching the video. You want to change, but you cannot stick to the change. And it's all because of one thing: identity. aka who you think you are, because you're always going to act in accordance with your identity. This is the familiar thing, this is how you survived up to that point, and when you try to change without changing who you are on the inside, you are creating an internal conflict, you are creating friction. And I'll give you an example that you can easily understand. So when you're a smoker, right, when you smoke cigarettes and you decide to quit smoking by just not smoking cigarettes, doesn't matter if you quit cold turkey or you taper off, the fact is that you're a smoker on the inside. You still want to go on smoke breaks, you still like smoking, you get triggered by people smoking around you, but you're not smoking. So you have become a smoker that doesn't smoke. You're not doing the familiar behavior and your nervous system goes crazy. So it makes you relapse by giving you withdrawals, giving you thoughts, urges, desire to go back, because otherwise the identity of a smoker is going to die. Now these identities, these habits, these thought patterns are kind of like separate entities. They have a survival bias just like you do, and they have access to all of your memories, so they're really good at manipulating you. So at the end of the day you have two options. One, you relapse and everything is fine, you go back to the old identity. The second one is you have immense willpower and discipline and fight cravings for the rest of your life. Now I think neither is a good option, and that is not the right way to live life. So what I have figured out is that you can systematically change your identity, change who you are on the inside, and then the actions follow. It is kind of like manifesting, but the way that it was explained to me was that when you live in the wish fulfilled, when you already feel like a millionaire, you don't have to do anything and the millions are going to come to you. Now, in my experience, this didn't work out, and I think action is the most important, because action is what is going to provide you real life evidence in the 3D reality, and evidence further influences your self-concept, aka your identity, aka who you are. And to put everything into perspective, I'll give you the smoker example again, but this works with any addiction, with any habit, basically anything that you want to change in your life and stick to. The goal is to become a non-smoker in your identity, to be able to say I'm not a smoker, not I am trying to quit smoking, because that implies you're still the smoker and you're trying to quit smoking, and this way you'll always be the smoker that tries to quit smoking. So you first start brainwashing yourself. You start saying you're not a smoker, and not just in the affirmation type of way, but actually add logic to it as well. Because if you're a smoker and that interferes with your performance doing sports, and you want to become a professional UFC fighter, for example, you're going to write I'm not a smoker because that lowers my stamina and I'll never be an UFC champion if I continue smoking. So that way you're not only affirming it, you're adding logic behind it that you really believe. And that's a very good way to internalize that new self-concept. Now, the point of affirmations is only to remind yourself of who you are. This is not who you strive to be, but who you are already. You have to create that separation between your past identity and who you are now at the present moment. The past is just a thought. It is not real. The only real experience is right now in the present moment, and right now you can choose who you are. You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. Right now, if I erase your memory, you're not going to be smoking cigarettes because you don't remember yourself as a smoker. So you constantly remind yourself of who you are. You can make a list of all these qualities that you have, basically outline who your dream version is, and then start operating from that point of view. If you wrote that your dream version doesn't smoke and is a UFC fighter, you better go train. You better not smoke for the next 30 minutes, and write out every win that you just accomplished. If you went training, write that out in your evidence journal. If you didn't smoke the last 30 minutes, write that out. And after a while, you have a whole list of evidence, which, as I said, is what reinforces your self-concept. You can read that like once a day. This is why I'm saying that the action is the most important part. The thoughts, the affirmations, the belief is just there to make you take inspired action. And this action, you're not going to be forcing yourself. This is going to become who you are after enough repetitions. Also, if you slip up and you do smoke a cigarette, do not put yourself down. Don't get discouraged because you didn't act in accordance with your new identity, because this will only make you spiral out of control and will make things even worse. Shaming yourself, putting yourself down, talking negatively about yourself is the way you did it in the past. Your dream version of you will never put themselves down. He will never talk negatively about themselves. He will never criticize themselves in a derogatory way, at least. So continue business as usual. If you smoked a cigarette, just forget about it. Just go on about your day, do the stuff that you were meant to do today, and achieve more wins for your evidence journal. Last but not least, one of the most important things, if not the most important, meditation. And I know you're probably sick of it, but I'm going to give you a new perspective of why you should meditate. And hopefully that clicks, because this is one of the biggest things that helped me get out of my own way, get of my old identity, and start operating from my new, better version. I don't do meditation as a spiritual practice. I do it solely to be able to control my thoughts and emotions. Because, as I said, with the automatic behaviors that you have learned up to that point, when an urge comes, you don't think it through. You go and act straight away. You feel bored, you go and grab junk food. You feel stressed, you go smoke weed. You feel anxious about your life situation and the job that you're stuck in, and you procrastinate on your phone. These are all automatic behaviors, and the way to break them is to create a layer of separation between the initial urge and the action. You do that through meditation, and you train yourself. When a thought comes, you have two options. Either you can engage with the thought and go along for the story, or you can notice it and bring your attention back to breathing, for example. That way you're training yourself not to indulge in thoughts. And then down the line, when you get better at it, when an urge comes your way, you have time to observe it, to think about it, to see if it really serves you or not. And you'll be able to make a logical decision instead of an automatic decision. This will really make you conscious, because right now, if you're doing behaviors automatically, you are a bot, straight up. And that was me as well. And you don't have to do it for an hour, 30 minutes. Start slow, start with 1 minute, start with 2 minutes, bring it up to 3, 5, 10 minutes, and you actually begin to appreciate that time with yourself. Because after all, it's freedom. It's freedom from the thoughts, it's freedom from the outside world, and at the same time, it's giving you the conscious ability to choose what thoughts you indulge in. For a limited time, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. Depending on when you watch the video, the link may or may not be in the description, so if it's there, you're really lucky. Go ahead and schedule one with me, and I'll help you shift your identity to become the best version of yourself, quit your addictions, and build consistency.